So now let's move forward, and it's time to call Mr. Rizwan Afzal Chaudhry, Commercial Head Polyester Business ICI Pakistan Limited, to come on the stage and talk about Terylene, a sustainable textile solution. Please give him a big hand.
All right, so I'll start my presentation, but before going into the presentation, I just want to say thank you very much for TEXTalks for organizing such a wonderful event. It's just something that I always thought about, but I couldn't imagine getting so many of my customers and spinners together under one roof in the company of all the knowledgeable people from the cotton world, from the technical world. So I think it's a fantastic opportunity to learn and interact and take something back. And as somebody said in the beginning, inspire and get inspired. So I, being a polyester fiber manufacturer and supplier, find myself in the company of majority cotton consumers. But I think the time has arrived where it's difficult to produce and remain competitive in the global textile arena without one another. So cotton, polyester, viscose, they become the major components of the textile value chain. Based on the topic of sustainable solutions, I will be talking about polyester, what is happening in the world, then what is happening in Pakistan, how things are moving in terms of the pollution that is happening, and what are the solutions that there are which we can all benefit from. And then at the end, I'll talk more about the new opportunities that are there for us to take advantage of with the help of the new solutions that are available. So I'll start with my first slide, which is there is no planet B. So as they say, there is no plan B for us. This is it. This is our planet. And if we do not protect and make it sustainable, unfortunately, there is no other place for us. So this is important for us to be able to secure this planet in every what way we can to make sure we don't run out of places where there's no garbage or run out of places where there's no pollution, and global warming is here now. So I think it's time. Time was maybe 10 years ago, but it continued to make us think about it every day more than yesterday. So what we had, for example, this is how we imagine the world to be. This is how we think our earth should look like. But unfortunately, what we did to it is very scary. And this is not an image that has been created with high-tech internet savvy people's help. This is actually happening. This is the Great Pacific garbage patch. As big as twice the size of Texas. So this is alarming. This is really scary. We should start to take notice of why this is happening. By 2050, people are forecasting that there will be more plastic in the oceans than fish. So, 2023, we are already touching. Before our next generation grow up and be, in our shoes, they will have no place, no ocean to, find fish or natural life. So this is as recent and as present danger. And if this is not enough, I found a very alarming video. have to bring the plastic out. So I think we have reached a stage of taking action and taking very, very strong actions to make sure we can crawl back towards better and cleaner environment. Moving on from here, I'll talk about the problem that we saw globally, which I shared, is also what is happening in the country, in Pakistan. So we have huge dumps where the waste is being thrown, and then this creates an even bigger problem in terms of people who are collecting this garbage, segregating it, plastic, solid waste, paper waste, all of that. It's economic. It's all economic reason that they go there, they collect it, they bring it back, and they make some money out of it to survive, to have a food on the table. But this is also causing child labor. So there's no denying the fact that majority of the child labor that works there is exposed to all kind of dangers, because this waste disposal is very informal and there is no segregation. So if you have a hazardous waste, a non-hazardous waste, a waste that can harm you or harm your health, these people who are collecting it, they have no idea what they're getting into. And when we talk about sustainability and future generations, I want to pause here that what about the current generation? What about the generation that we see collecting this waste and, in the process becoming harmed by it? So I think future generations will obviously benefit if we start to act now. And this has started to have impact, as I said, should have happened long time ago. It did, and now this menace of pollution is starting to actually get to the end consumer. And as we say, the green consumerism is emerging, and is emerging very strongly. And the last survey that I have shows that almost 40 to 50% of all consumers are willing to pay even a premium to buy sustainable product. So when we talk about, sustainable products, they may cost a little bit more, the quality may not be as good. I mean, here is a survey which clearly reflects that customers are actually willing to pay more for a sustainable product that can actually help the environment. And not following this, but ahead of this, are the government regulations and the brand commitment. So the governments in various countries have already started to put in regulations. They have started to set themselves target for collection of waste as well as for usage of PET waste. So, for example, in EU, they have set themselves a target of minimum 25% bottle, recycled bottle in the PET bottle that they use. And I was recently in Germany, and I saw at a mart where there was two vending machines where people put in bottle and they take out a coupon, and that coupon had 25 cents written on it. And I was like a little bit shocked that one bottle is not costly enough for anybody to recycle at 25 cents. So who is paying for this? How is this getting financed? So when you look deeper, they have priced up the bottle of water by 25 cents. And now it's on the label that this 25 cent will go into recycling this bottle, and the next bottle, this cost will be again put on the consumer, so the end consumer, which the end consumer is very happy to pay because they want to make sure that they are working in a circular economy. They're living in a country which cares about sustainability and circularity. So I think that was a fantastic initiative, and more and more countries need to move towards that. So with the regulation, there are brands who are actually moving ahead of, because they need to remain competitive, they need to remain in the market, so they have made their own commitments, which are even more ambitious, if I can say that. So by 2025, 25% recycled PET must be in the bottle. By 2030, they are trying to get up to 35%. It's ambitious, it's difficult. PET bottle conversion into bottle is not easy, and it has an impact on the color of the end product. But this is something that now they are getting forced to do. Similarly, in case of textiles, we have seen brands making commitments, big commitments, from 30% to 100% recycled content. I mean, that's very, very ambitious. And in order for them to achieve that, there need to be enough material available to recycle. So it's not just your commitment and your belief in changing something, but you need to have that enough available to be able to make that change. So this is something that is happening gradually, and brands are starting to move into this, but they have other options. It's not just bottle-to-bottle PET recycling. There are other options that are emerging, which will help recycle the PET bottle and all these plastic waste. For now, however, you'll be pleased to see that the polyester fiber is at the forefront of recycling. So 49% of the total PET bottle recycling is happening in the polyester staple fiber, and about 6% in the filament business. So together in the polyester family, you have about 55% of the total PET bottle being recycled. And then you have the bottle-to-bottle recycling, which is about 19%. Then sheet for packaging, and then you also have textile-to-textile recycling. So I was talking to a brand about recycled polyester from PET bottle, and they started talking about textile-to-textile recycling, because that's the new buzzword, because the bottle producers are now starting to claim their PET bottle. So previously, they were creating the pollution, and so to speak, and the PET bottle, was becoming too much to handle when the textile polyester manufacturers started to recycle it, not necessarily for sustainability reason, but for the economic reason. And however, that turned into more sustainable reason. And now high quality recycled polyester is being produced, which can almost match the virgin fiber quality. And in that area, we at Terylene, ICI Pakistan, have made an investment, and our brand is Terylene Clean, which is 100% post-consumer recycled fiber, and call it the efficient green. It's because it runs and behaves very similar to virgin fiber. So there's not a huge loss of production, there's not a big quality difference, and it can be adopted by any textile mill even tomorrow, replacing the virgin fiber. So as people are moving more towards recycled, sustainable products, there is another problem that is being faced, and that is the problem of we get the product, I want a sustainable garment, I want to go and buy one which says that it's a 50% recycled polyester, for example. How do I know that it is 100% or 50% recycled polyester? Because this problem has been identified, and I face it on a daily basis, where people, majority of the brands that were surveyed by a company in UK over 18 months, found out that 62% of all the claims of recycle were not true. So what does this tell us about the recycle availability? So now just imagine the 62% which was not recycled, if you replace it with recycled today, where we're already struggling to have enough capacities, I think tomorrow we will run out of all the recycled polyester. So there is a problem of making products which are not really recycled, and a consumer has a right to know what they're paying for. And now there is more and more calls in the Europe in particular, and now in US as well, where they're asking for the traceable supply chains. Stefan here this afternoon talked about traceability in cotton. Similarly, we need more traceability in other raw materials so that when you go and buy something from a brand store, you know what you're paying for. And if you're willing to pay $5 more, then you should definitely be contributing towards sustainability. There is a new due diligence act in Germany, which is coming in force on the 1st of January 2023, where all the suppliers supplying into Germany are required to have sort of proof of what they're selling through a third-party certification. So our lab need to test the product and confirm that this product contains recycled content. And only then you can supply into Germany post January 2023. I hope that becomes real. I mean, I really hope, because that's how we will control this misuse of such opportunity, which helps reduce the burden on the environment. And in order for that, for us, we started to make it traceable for our fiber, at least. We started this about a year ago, and now we are working with a company called Fiber Trace, which gives solution from fiber all the way to the garment, and you can actually trace the garment inside the shop, where this tracer will be able to show that this product contains Terylene clean. So irrespective wherever it's coming from, when it reaches the store, if it tests positive for the recycled content, I feel good that whatever I paid for, I'm getting in the product. And hence, we are really encouraging people to use this kind of a traceability system in their supply chains, because more and more brands are going to be held responsible for the products that they display, to ensure it contains what they claim. So this is something that I really wanted to talk about in terms of the recycle supply chain challenges, environmental impact, and how we can benefit if we can make a product which is good in terms of quality and has a traceability all the way to the end consumer. What else can be done? So, just to mention, we've been approved by the companies in US and Europe. They've done all the audits just to make sure what they are getting from us is also compliant with their other social requirements. What else can be done? So this is one area where there is a lot of pollution that is there in the form of bottle, which we are collecting, we are washing, crushing, recycling, making it into a fiber, which is then used as a normal fiber, goes into garment. But what happens after you use the garment? So now we are talking about post-consumption. So post-consumption of bottle is handled. Now the post-consumption of polyester fiber. Polyester fiber, normal polyester fiber, does not biodegrade naturally. Even in 100 years, it will stay in the landfill, it will stay in the marine life, and it will just not make the land for any use, for any cultivation in future once you put a garment in there. So we are now working with a company in US, are offering a product which is Cyclo, which is powered by Terylene, Terylene powered by Cyclo. It behaves like a natural fiber. So in a landfill, in a marine life, aerobic, anaerobic environments, this product start to disintegrate like any natural fiber. And we have seen the results that more than 91% of this polyester completely disintegrated in less than 4 years. So here we're talking about 100 years, nothing happening. And in case of PET bottle, 400 years, 300 years, nobody has lived to see when this biodegrades. But once you collected it, converted it into fiber, you put this particular agent in it, it starts to make it attracted to bacteria. Bacteria eats it like cotton or wool, and it starts to disintegrate naturally. And the proof is already there, the test has been done, and just to share with you, there are one or two major users of Cyclo technology in brands. They have specified this product for particularly in the denim segment to start off with, and now they are looking at the other areas. So this is starting to get traction. And what I say, what next is if you put the recycled PET bottle post-consumer with the Cyclo, which is cleaning the environment from current pollution and leaving nothing behind for future, most sustainable solution in my view today. So obviously technology moves on, new solutions will come, but today if you ask something that is very, very environmentally friendly is something like this, which will be a combination of the two fibers. And I was talking to my friends here that when you talk about cotton availability, cotton scarcity, cotton quality, future of cultivatable land, I think we need to look at this solution as well, because if you have something which is as strong, as clean, as good as polyester, but after the use it behaves like a natural fiber, then I think there is a win-win, solution for all of us. And in today's prices, it probably costs you 30-40% less than cotton. So, and this is one of the initiatives. The other thing, which I thought I'll talk about, just touch upon, is our company is also invested into the seed, cotton seed in the country. And because ICI is a bigger organization, we have our agriculture business, and they've started this R&D in 2017, and they have successfully have approval for 2 seed varieties, which are in the trials shown promise in terms of the yield percentage, in terms of the quality, which is as good as the existing product or better. And it was done last year on trial or a larger scale. And this year they had even bigger scale, but unfortunately, the flooding that has happened spoiled the crop. But this is something that we are also doing side by side, because cotton also complement, or polyester also complement cotton. And I've seen, because we're talking about uncertainty in the textile today, I've seen when the cotton crop is good, when the cotton availability is better, polyester and other businesses also flourish, because we are linked together. So one is to work for the other to also benefit from it. Now, this was all business. In order for us to do this, it's very important for us to have some care for the communities that we operate in. And I'll share with you a very small story about this foundation, ABRU. It's an NGO who educate these kids who go out on the street to collect waste, and then they sell it and bring home food. Now, this NGO bring those kids into school. They educate them, they give them food, they give them shelter, they give them uniform, and in cases they have to go back home because their parents are waiting for them to bring back some money, they actually send food back home for the people who are waiting at home, so that they don't feel that our kid was studying all day and didn't bring back any food for us. So this is an NGO who collect waste from our office, from many, many houses around Lahore, and from many organizations. So we are partnering with them. We are trying to expand their brand bandwidth for them to collect much more than they are currently doing, so that they can sell that to us, and then they can put more students in the school. So what our consumption is 50 tons per day. This NGO can barely make a ton in 2 weeks. So it does not change my economics, but it definitely impacts the number of kids that are going to school today and that are going to go to school tomorrow. So this is something that we are doing, and we are, joining hands with many other organizations to expand this kind of, and this is going to help reduce the child labor on collection of garbage and plastic. Also, this is going to help improve the collection process, because what else we are doing is with WWF, and there is another foundation in Lahore, we are educating the young kids in school to dispose of their plastic and paper and boxes segregated. Once they segregate, it's much easier to collect. It stops going to these garbage dumps, and it goes directly to the recycling process. It saves energy, wastage, and burden, whereas it also adds economic value to the people who are underprivileged. So all these schools that we are certifying, they're going to have separate bins, and guess who is going to collect the garbage? Abru Foundation. So they will pick it up, they will take it at their place, and then they will sell it in the market, and hence more kids can come in and they can grow further. So this is something that we are doing in order for to improve the ecosystem for garbage collection. Core Alliance is another alliance of like-minded companies who have access to the government, to the corridors of power, where we can talk about the things that we need to improve recycling, garbage collection, streamlining the process. So this is something that we are also part of. And I think I come to the end of my presentation. But before I close, I'll leave you with a small video of our plant that we just set up in our polyester facility. But before we go to video, thank you very much for a fantastic audience, and appreciate your presence. And I look forward to learning from the people here. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.